Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this super easy cardigan for your American Girl doll. So this cardigan was inspired by one that I made in real life from a tutorial from For the Frills. It's an amazing YouTube channel that you should definitely check out, and I'll link the real tutorial in the description. But anyways, I loved it so much that I decided to make a version for my American Girl doll. So yeah, let's just get straight into the tutorial. So today I will be using Big Twist Value yarn, which is a size medium 4-weight yarn, and the color that I'm using is called Cornflower Blue, and you could also use another size 4 yarn if you want to. It doesn't really matter that much. You will also be needing a size J or 6mm crochet hook, as well as a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle. And you will also be needing 4 stitch markers that look something like this, or something that can just hold pieces together. So you are going to start out by making a slip knot, and then you will chain 20. Okay, so here I have my 20 chains, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to skip the first 2 chains, and I'm going to be doing a double crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook, and then I'm also going to do a double crochet in the next 17 stitches, which will give you a total of 18 stitches, and will finish off your row. So I'm going to meet you back here once I have my first row of just double crochets finished. Okay, so now I am back with that row finished, and for the next one, you're going to start by chaining 2 and turning, and then you will do a front post double crochet in the first stitch and a back post double crochet in the second stitch. If you don't know what that is, it's basically where you insert your hook either forwards or backwards into the post of your double crochet from the row before, and then just do a normal double crochet in it. Sorry that was a little bit of a fast explanation. I could make a whole video on this eventually, but for now I'll just put links to other tutorials in the description so that if you don't know how to do this, you can learn how. Anyways, I'm going to repeat that pattern of front post double crochet in the first stitch and back post double crochet in the next stitch for this entire row, and I will meet you back here once I have finished it to show you what to do for the next one. So here I have finished my ribbing rows, and it should look something like this for yours as well. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and then I'm going to do 1 half double crochet in each stitch along. And I'm going to repeat this row of chain 1, turn, and do 1 half double crochet in each stitch for 15 rows altogether, of just the half double crochet part, not including the ribbing. So you will have 17 rows all together on your piece with just 15 of half double crochets. So yeah, this will be creating the back of our sweater. So here is what my back panel looks like. I've done 15 rows of half double crochet and 17 all together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and I'm going to do 1 half double crochet in each of the first 8 stitches. Okay, and once you have done those 8 stitches, you are going to chain 1 and turn, and then do a half double crochet in each of the 8 stitches that we just did a half double crochet in, and you are going to repeat this row of chain 1, turn, and do a half double crochet 8 for the next 15 rows. So you will have 15 rows of just the half double crochet 8 all together. So I will meet you back here once I have those rows done. And here I have those rows done, and this is what mine looks like right now. So what we're going to do next is you're going to chain 2 and turn, and then you're going to do a double crochet in each of these next 8 stitches. Now that I have done that row, I'm going to chain 2 and turn, and then just like we did on the bottom, I'm going to do a front post double crochet in the first stitch and a back post double crochet in the second, and I'm going to repeat that pattern all across the row. Now that I have finished that last row, I'm just going to cut a 6-inch tail and pull through the loop to create a knot, and that will finish off our first front panel. Now we are going to have to create the second front panel. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn your work over and into your hook into the last stitch right there on the other side, and then you're going to pull up a loop. Then you are just going to use both strands of yarn to do your first half double crochet to just secure the yarn in there, and then you are going to continue on and do 7 more half double crochets normally, which will give you a total of 8 half double crochets. Once you have done those, you're just going to chain 1 and turn and half double crochet 8 right on top of the 8 that we just did, and you are going to repeat the same row of chain 1, turn, and do a half double crochet 8 for the next 15 rows, well, for the next 14 rows I guess, but you will have 15 rows all together, and I'm going to meet you back here to show you what to do next after you have those 15 rows all done. Okay, and now I have finished those 15 rows, and it should look something like this. So I'm going to chain 2 and turn, and then I'm going to do a double crochet in each of those 8 stitches. And now that that row is done, I'm going to chain 2 and turn, and then I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the other front panel. I'm going to do a front post double crochet in the first stitch, a back post double crochet in the second stitch, and repeat that along the row. And now that that row is finished, I'm just going to cut around a 6-inch tail and pull through the loop to create a knot. So now that the back and both front panels are done, we are going to start working on the sleeves. So you're going to start by making a slip knot and chaining 17. Now that my 17 chains are done, I'm going to skip the very first 2, and into the 3rd chain from the hook, I'm going to do a double crochet. I'm going to do a double crochet in each of the next 14 stitches as well, which will give you a total of 15 double crochets when you have finished this row. So once you have finished those 15 double crochets, you're going to chain 2 and turn. Then you are going to do a front post double crochet in the first stitch and a back post double crochet in the second stitch, and you are going to repeat that pattern until you reach the end of the row. So now I have finished that last row, and I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and then I'm going to half double crochet 1 in each of the first 2 stitches, and then into the 3rd stitch I'm going to be doing 2 half double crochets. So as you can see, I have a half double crochet in the first 2 stitches and then 2 half double crochets in the 3rd. So I'm going to repeat this pattern until I reach the end of my row, and when you finish the row, you should have 20 stitches altogether. Okay, so now I am back and done with that row, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and I'm going to do 1 half double crochet in each of the next 20 stitches, which is the entire row, and I'm going to repeat this pattern for the next 5 rows after this one of just chain 1, turn, and do a half double crochet in each stitch, and you will have 7 rows of just the half double crochet part all together, including the one where we increased, but you will have 9 rows altogether, including the double crochets and the ribbing on the bottom. So I'm going to meet you back here when I have finished all of those rows. Okay, and now I have finished my first sleeve, and this is what mine looks like. Yours should look something like this too. And now I'm just going to cut a 6-inch tail and pull through the loop, creating a knot and finishing off the first sleeve. So I'm going to repeat those exact same steps for the second sleeve, and I'm going to come back here once I have the second sleeve done to show you how we start sewing everything together. Okay, and now that all of the pieces are finished, you should have a piece with a back panel and 2 front panels attached looking like this, as well as 2 sleeves that we just finished. So if you have all of these, you are ready to go on to the next step, where we are going to be sewing the sleeves on and sewing down the side to create the sweater. Okay, so on the edge of the right front panel, you are going to count down 7 stitches, including the ribbing, and in the 8th stitch, you are going to place a stitch marker, and in that same stitch marker, you're going to place the last stitch of one of our sleeves just like this, and then just close it up so that it stays here. And then you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side, which would be the back panel. You're going to count up 7, then in the 8th stitch, grab your stitch marker and place it in, as well as the edge of the sleeve. And it should be pretty proportional and straight. If it's kind of not fitting right, then check your counting again. But as you can see, this fits perfectly on. So I'm going to be doing the exact same thing to the other side, just attaching the sleeve on there. When you're done pinning them on, your entire thing should look something like this. Now you're going to be sewing down both of the sides using a mattress stitch, and if you don't know how to do that, I will link a tutorial in the description, but it's just a really simple stitch to sew together things when you're crocheting, and I think it's really simple and really useful once you know how to do it. So yeah. Okay, so now I have finished sewing the sleeves on, and to do this next part, you're going to want to make sure that your piece is facing inside out, but basically you're just going to fold it over in half so that the sleeve lines up like this and the rest of it lines up. And you are going to sew across the sleeve and down the side using the mattress stitch on both sides of the sweater to just kind of put everything together and make it something that your doll can actually wear. Okay, so now as you can see, I finished sewing down the sleeves and the sides and it is all connected. So I'm going to be putting my sweater right sides out so that we can sew a neckline border to make it neater. So to do that, you are going to take the right side bottom of the sweater and stick your hook in. Then you are just going to use both strands of yarn to do a half double crochet in the same stitch that you just put your hook in. And so as you can see, there are all these rows that we're going into on the sides. So you're going to do a stitch per row, and you're going to do that all the way around until you reach the bottom. And now I am back and I finished that first row, and this is what it looks like. So now you're just going to chain 1 and turn, and you're going to do a half double crochet into each of the stitches that you just made. It's the exact same thing, and you're just going to do it for this second round to make the border a little bit bigger. But yeah, I'm just going to continue doing half double crochets all the way around, and I will come back here when I'm done. Okay, and here I have finished those 2 rows, and this is what it looks like. You can see both of those border rows that I did. So now I'm just going to cut around a 6-inch tail and pull through that loop, which will create a knot and finish off those rows. So now we're going to be flipping the cardigan back to being inside out again, because that is where most of the stray ends are, and we have to sew those in next. So now that it is inside out, you can see all of these yarn ends and stuff, so we're just going to be sewing those in next to make a nice clean finish on the cardigan. And once you have sewn in all of those little ends, you are just going to flip it back to being right sides out, and now you are completely finished with your cardigan. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you liked it, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more. I'm super happy with how this sweater turned out, and I think that it's so pretty. And yeah, anyways, I will see you in my next video. Bye!